What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Showdown video, and in today's video we're going to be going over some quick random double battles that I did. Basically, I got some Pokemon battles that I've been collecting for a couple of days now whenever I had the time to get a quick battle instead of making an entire video. And I'm going to be voicing over those battles. Let's get right into the first one. I am starting with a Kingdra and a Toxtricity. And the opponent is starting out with Togedemaru and Persian. Persian goes for the Fake Out right into Toxtricity, which does a good amount of damage being a normal type. And all of that probably with Technician boost. Gets all Citrus Berry whenever I use Draco Meteor. Togedemaru uses Zing Zap. So overall, not too good of a first turn for me, being that the opponent still has both their health. I am at half special attack. And Toxtricity took a good amount of damage. Now I'm going into my Glastrier. And I'm making a hard prediction here that they will not go into Iron Head into Glastrier, but instead the other slot. So now we're on to turn 3, and the opponent does a double switch out. I go for Heat Wave, which lowers down a lot. Glastrier goes for High Horsepower into where that Togedemaru slot was, taking a bit of a chance there that we were going to take the Iron Head with Glastrier, which I figured we would. We were going to start getting buffs. That gets rid of Regieleki, which was obviously a huge threat that they were hiding in the back, as well as the Lunala. The Persian comes back in, Persian goes for Fake Out on the Glacier. I go for Bug Buzz into Lunala, just trying to do some chip damage. We do get a special defense drop. They even plug some more moves into Glacier, but Glacier is just tanky enough to deal with it. They go into Dragalge, revealing a total of 5 of their Mons. I go for Protecting the Glacier. And I'm starting to set up with Volcarona, who at this point does not have Giga Drain, I believe. I think this was Fiery Dance, Bug Buzz. No, it was Heat Wave, Bug Buzz, Hurricane, Quiver Dance set. But we're trying to get rid of the Dragalge. Things are being KO'd. Protecting that Glacier, kind of doing the bait and switch technique a little bit at time. I don't think that crit mattered on Lunala. I think it was dying there anyways. Dragalge is trying to get off damage, but all of it seems pretty futile. So I'm in a pretty good spot where I have one of my Chilling Nays off with Glacier, and I have a Quiver Dance up with Volcarona, even though both my Pokemon are at half health. So the Dragalge goes for Protect, I go for Heat Wave, so it doesn't affect it too much. Togedemaru gets brought down to its Sturdy, which I kind of predicted, but I did not predict getting Zing Zapped. And then a High Horsepower Dragon, trying to get rid of that. We missed the Heat Wave on Togedemaru, which is very unfortunate because I was really hoping to pick up that KO. And because of that, Glacier does go down, I believe. So now we're doing a bit of a back and forth here, where Indeedee is staying at the terrain. We missed a Heat Wave on Gyarados, but it doesn't matter too much with it being a water type. And Expanding Force the Gyarados. And actually, I think if I remember correct, that Heat Wave does matter here in a little bit. We'll get into why, because they Dynamax their Dragalge and protect their Gyarados. So Volcarona goes for Hurricane, but I go for Heal Pulse in the Volcarona because I know the Dragalge is going to attack into that slot, and we have the special defense buff to survive it. Dragalge is pretty slow, so I didn't expect it to win there. We're going for Hurricane, just trying to get some confusions. Indeedee goes for Expanding Force, which if we had landed that Heat Wave earlier, probably would have killed the Gyarados by now. But Gyarados goes for Waterfall into Indeedee. Indeedee lives on 1 and doesn't even have a Focus Sash. It has a Citrus Berry, which is very fortunate for us, but the Gyarados has a Life Orb, so it dies anyways. Dragalge is getting off its special attack buff, but we have a Mr. Mime that I've been saving for this very special occasion, who gets to just max Mind Storm on Psychic Terrain and end the Dragalge, and that is the end of the first battle. Right, let's see how the second battle starts. I lead with Klinklang and Volcarona. Oh, I think the team also leads with some power here. Yeah, they start off with Venusaur Tapu Lele, which seems really beneficial for us, but I do know that Tapu Lele has Focus Blast at this point, but I'm deciding to risk it, thinking that it might miss, because I think I kind of have to based on the other Pokemon that are in my team at that point. They do go for Focus Blast, and it does miss, thankfully. We go for Leech Seed, we go for Heat Wave, taking a ton of that Venusaur's health, but it does have a Citrus Berry, and it is going to Leech Seed some of that back, making it so that it could survive another Heat Wave. At that point, though, I'm really not caring about it, and I'm just spamming Heat Wave. Klinklang gets to Gear Grind into the Aerodactyl here. Aerodactyl instantly killed that. Tapu Lele is going to land the Focus Blast, though, this time. I was kind of wondering if they were going to switch out or not, because we could have Gear Grinded the Tapu Lele easily there. But I'm glad we could pick up the KO on the Aerodactyl, which could have been very troublesome later on. Go for Heat Wave in the Tapu Lele slot, doing a ton of damage to that. Then we're going to Skarmory here, which is a bit questionable, considering that I've just been spamming Heat Wave the entire time. But we'll see how that goes here in a sec whenever they switch out to Savali fighting, and they go for Iron Defense, not knowing that Heat Wave is a special move and will not save them. We go for Iron Head and Savali, playing to have gone in Iron Head into Tapu Lele slot. We ally switch in order to decrease the chance of getting damaged a lot here. They go for Body Press into that slot. We go for Heat Wave, that destroys Skarmory, unfortunately, and they forfeit there. So this was one of the battles I didn't get to play all the way out, but it's still a very interesting time matchup. Depending on what the last mon was, I don't really think they had much that they could do there. But yeah, see you in the next game. Alright, so this game starts with, oh yeah, Zeraora Diggersby. This was one of the, probably the most interesting games of the video. So I started out with Druddigon Tyrantrum here against a ground type and a Zeraora, which was immediately bad because Tyrantrum does not like taking that ground type damage from Hughes powered Diggersby, as well as having a Zeraora is generally just not good to play against when you have a Druddigon on the field. So I decided to swap into Arcanine, get some Intimidate off. I figured they're not going for a ground type move into that Arcanine slot, so we can get him in pretty free there. Zeraora for Fake Out, which does minimal damage, and Tyrantrum survives that, but also gets to go for Head Smash into Zeraora and get rid of that, thankfully. Then they bring in Zygarde 10% form, which if you don't know, basically always has Power Construct in this format. So they, immediately off the bat, they have Zeraora, Huge Power Diggersby, and Zygarde 100% once that activates. And I have 2 Dragon types and an Arcanine so far, but we'll get into what happens. So Zygarde go for 1,000 arrows. I kind of had to take the KO with, what's his face? Tyrantrum? How did I already forget Tyrantrum after he was just on the field? I had to kind of force take the KO with Tyrantrum. Druddigon is out here. We go for another Intimidate, lowering the Zygarde's attack. They go into Kingler here. I think I went for... No, I went for Protect, not Scale Shot. They're going to go for Horsepower. Now we're going to Fake Out there. Trying to deal as much damage into this Kingler as possible. Scale Shot. Life Orb unfortunately gets exerted there and dies without the Focus Sash that I thought it had. And then we get 2 Scale Shots off out of possible 5, which is not good for us, but that increases our speed so that we get to use another Scale Shot next turn. Kabutops is fast enough to use Water type move to kill the Diggersby if it stayed in that slot, but they were smart enough to switch out to the Pangoro. So we go for Scale Shot, and we hit another 2 times, which means the Kingler could have been dead by now if we just hit some more times. But we go for Waterfall into that slot, and the Kingler takes its turn in order to get the Druddigon KO, as to be expected. Arcanine gets to lower the attack of the Kingler, but not the Pangoro, because it has Scrappy. Another thing you'll notice is that they have a lot of Pokemon that counter my Pokemon. Bringing in a Rotom here, which would have very easily countered Kabutops, because it's generally faster than Kabutops. But, on to the point, we go for Flare Blitz. Pangoro lives, but gets burned, which actually comes in a little bit clutch later on. Arcanine takes the damage for that. We get a Stone Edge. The crit probably does not matter, because the Kingler switching in from the Rotom, wanting to kill the Kabutops, thinking we're going to target that slot with a Rock type move, but obviously we were. Arcanine picks up the Flamethrower KO right here, as well as I think Kabutops picks up the Stone Edge KO right here on Kingler. So now they have 2 Mons left, and I have 3 Mons left, but their 2 Mons are obviously much more influential than the Mons that I have. And I'm thinking in my head, how do I win this? How do I win this matchup with Zygarde, eventually 100%, and Huge Power Diggersby? So I bring in Centiscorch, my last Mon, in order to preserve the Intimidate on Arcanine. They go for Max Weight into Kabutops, who's honestly dead weight at this point. I have to kill the Diggersby some other way. And I think Centiscorch has to clutch here. It's the only way. They're going to take the KO on Arcanine. If Arcanine is a big enough boy to live the 1 Max Quake while intimidated, we live. Arcanine goes for Flare Blitz. Does massive damage. Arcanine dies. Goes for High Horsepower. Centiscorch is now at half health. We go for Coil. And then we get Gigantamax to stall at the last turn of Dynamax for the Zygarde. Diggersby goes for High Horsepower. Zygarde is back to Small Zygarde. Goes for Dragon Dance in order to get rid of the Intimidate. I respect it. Goes for High Horsepower. Doesn't do that much. We go for G-Max Centiferno. instantly kill Diggersby, who seemed like the most threatening thing. In order to just get rid of one of the targets on the field, we get Gmax Inferno off into Zygarde, which did not kill, unfortunately, because it is resisted by the Dragon type, which means that Zygarde gets to get off its Power Construct and is basically almost at full health again. Centiscorch goes for Protect, goes for 1,000 arrows, but we get our Gmax Inferno off to do a little bit more damage. Centiscorch lives the 1,000 arrows, and we leech life just to get enough health back to live the next 1,000 arrows. We Protect because I thought we had one more turn of Gmax Inferno, and that was going to win us the game. And then we lived the hit again from the Zygarde, and just like that, Centiscorch single-handedly defeated the 100% Zygarde and clutched the entire game for me. That was a good one. Alright, next up in game 4. Oops, I think I'm on the wrong slide. Let's see. The opponent starts with Sableye and Zekrom, and I start with Dreadnought and Maractus. Now, I remember specifically in this game that Zekrom destroyed everything on my team. I remember I had a Tornadus, I think, another flying type. Dreadnought obviously was going to get by an electric type move here. What the heck was Maractus supposed to do against a Zekrom is the question on everybody's mind. The first turn, they go for Fake Out on Dreadnought. I'm thinking, alright, Dreadnought's probably going to die here. There's nothing I can do. And then they Bolt Strike Maractus, which is a really weird play, but I guess it was the one that made. So I decided to Spiky Shield and Swords Dance, thinking that maybe they don't know how types work, but then they remember that Bolt Strike into Dreadnought is actually super effective, and they decide to take that KO. But now I bring in Machamp, who is probably my best chance to get rid of the Zekrom. Zekrom gets greedy and goes for Dragon Dance, but we get to KO Close Combat. And now, just like that, that threat has been eliminated. Maractus is taking some damage from Foul Play though, but now Machamp has his Guts Boost off. We just keep helping handing with Maractus, being an absolute unit here, knocking off the Bronzong, instant KOing it with Guts Knockoff, super effective. They're bringing in Salazzle. I decided to go for Spiky Shield, I think Protect, yeah, just to stall out a couple turns, thinking that Sableye will go for Foul Play. It does go for Foul Play in the Maractus and takes a little bit of damage there. Decided to swap in Mandibuzz in order to take the hit, being a little bit tankier. Decided to try and get rid of the Salazzle, but Facade does not kill the Salazzle, unfortunately. And the turn progresses. Machamp's going to Protect. Goes for Sludge Bomb into the slot. We Protect it. We go for Snarl. Lowers the special attack of everything on the field. Goes for Foul Play. We do resist it with Mandibuzz. Overall, good turn for us. And, oh yeah, this was another forfeit team. But definitely showing how we handled the threat. I'm pretty sure, as I mentioned before, the last two Mons were both flying types, and I even had Mandibuzz, who was also a flying type. This one was a Tornadus. This one might have not been a flying type, actually. I think Mandibuzz was the other flying type. But this Pokemon might have been another Pokemon that was weak to Zekrom. Anyways, next battle. Alright, so this is the last battle. I don't remember if anything too special happens in this one. But we lead with Berserker and Kingler, while the enemy leads with Cobalion and Dragapult. So already we are down pretty bad with Cobalion basically being able to destroy the Berserker. It doesn't decide to destroy the Berserker though, it decides to paralyze the Kingler. We go for Lash Out into Dragapult, doesn't kill. We go for Liquidation into Cobalion, also doesn't kill. Then they bring in a Alolan Raichu, which can instantly destroy Kingler, but in the switch I also bring Quillfish. Go for Liquidation into Dragapult, trying to kill it, does not get the kill. Seeing the immediate threat into the Quillfish slot, I decided to bring in Rotom, but they did decide to KO the Kingler slot. Next I bring in Umbreon, who is going to be an absolute unit here in this next fight. Rotom goes for Electro Web, which is going to lower the speed of the Charizard and not allow it to move as easily. Next turn we go for Foul Play into the Charizard. Umbreon's going to Protect. Going to protect the Shadow Ball. Rotom goes for Electro Web, picks up the double KO. So now the score is 5-4 Mons. They bring in Vaporeon, who has the ability to instant KO my Rotom. Therefore goes for Close Combat with Cobalion, but Umbreon tanks it because Umbreon is super tanky. And we go for Will-O-Wisp into Cobalion, effectively neutralizing that slot. We also tried to Toxic the Vaporeon to get rid of its ability to Wish Heal a bunch, thinking that I was also going to Toxic Soul me out. But right now we're just Electro Webbing, lowering as many stats as we can, honestly. Also, Moonlighting all of our health back is super useful, and they finally decide to pick up the KO with Rotom, but Rotom, having done its job, gets to rest easy. Quillfish coming in with the Intimidate, lowering the attack stat of both of the foes. Go for Taunt into Vaporeon, still kind of expecting that Toxic to come out eventually. Or the Wish, either one of the two. But no, they just keep scalding into Umbreon. Eventually they bring back out Raichu, which I think means the unfortunate end for Berserker, as I switch it out for Qwilfish, thinking I'm going to a KO into that slot. Yep, there it is. Umbreon is going to Foul Play and get rid of the Raichu threat in return, trading Pokemon there. Very worthy trade. Vaporeon is slowly getting its Toxic kicked off, but now the taunt is worn off, and Cobalion is coming back in, with all of its defenses back. We switch Qwilfish back in because it's a pretty safe switch. Then the Intimidate. I'm a Moonlight up again with Vaporeon, because the opponent can basically only just take damage this turn from Burn and the like. Goes for close combat, and Umbreon kind of vainly again. Still waiting out all those turns, and decide to pick up the KO into the Vaporeon slot. Actually tanks it a good bit, but it does get off a Wish. And their last Mon is Zygarde, who they decide to Dynamax. So I bring in Lycanroc so that we can get one last Intimidate off Qwilfish. Sadly though, Lycanroc is going to take the hit, but it wasn't going to be all that useful with a Grass type and a Steel type Fighting type being on the field, even though it is burned. This buys Cobalion a couple more turns to be annoying. It does get the Thunder Wave off, and then Zygarde goes for Max Overgrowth. Qwilfish is tanking it up though. Basically the only thing I can do is just use Max Ooze into Zeraora and start ticking away its health. But we do eventually go for Toxic into that slot. I think it's this turn. Qwilfish gets a paralyzed turn while being Dynamax, which is unfortunate. Smartly enough, I don't think the Zeraora meant to do this, or I don't think the Zygarde meant to do this intentionally. But what it ended up doing is using Sandstorm so that my Moonlight health restoration just wasn't as good. It would only be a third. I think the smart play here would have actually been to go for Max Rain, or Max whatever the Max Water move is. It's been too long since I played Sword and Shield. I'm basically hooked on Legends Arceus right now. But to go for Max Water in order to get rid of the Sandstorm, since I couldn't set up the Sandstorm again. But basically, all Umbreon has to do at this point is out-tank Zygarde. Umbreon goes for Protect, even though we can basically guarantee that it's going to try and pick up the KO in that Qwilfish slot. We're going to taunt it so that I can't go for Jungle Healing any of these turns and make the turn count any longer than it already is going to be, with the Toxic slowly chipping down the Zygarde. With lowered attack, I don't think this Zygarde is going to be picking up the KO on Umbreon anytime soon. It's only got one turn left to Toxic, which we Protect Stall out. It does go for Power Up into that slot. Maybe with a crit it could have done something special there, but with the tankiness of Umbreon, I don't think so. So yeah, those were some of the double battles that I thought were probably the best. More often than not, the opponent would just end up giving up very early on. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, maybe consider leaving a like on the video, and even consider subscribing. I hope you like the format for doing this Pokemon Showdown video. I do some live Pokemon battles, but this was just a replay episode where I had time to do some battles, not consecutively, and then just record my reactions / commentary over top of them. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.